The mansion that once echoed with silence now brimmed with life. Every morning began with laughter, chatter, and the sweet chaos only children could bring. Sarah would wake to the sound of tiny footsteps pattering across the marble floor, followed by Zoo's giggles and Jack's little voice calling, "Mama, breakfast time." Gone were the quiet mornings of luxury. Now her life was woven with hugs, spilled cereal, and bedtime stories, and she loved every minute of it. Motherhood had become her new world, a world where love meant messy rooms, unfinished coffee, and a heart constantly full and breaking all at once. Sarah was not just raising children. She was raising souls. She wanted Zoo and Jack to understand that kindness was more valuable than diamonds, and hard work more precious than gold. Every evening, as she tucked them into bed, she told them stories, not of princes and castles, but of courage, honesty, and hope. Sometimes they'd ask, "Mama, were you rich when you were little?" She would smile softly. "No, my loves, I was rich in dreams, and that's the best kind of wealth." Zoo would grin proudly and say, "Then I'll be rich like you." And Sarah would kiss her forehead, whispering, "You already are." While William continued to expand his business empire, Sarah poured her energy into the Carter Foundation. What began as a small initiative was now growing into a global movement. Schools were being built, digital classrooms launched, and young girls were given chances to dream. Sarah would often take Zoo and Jack along to charity events. She wanted them to see the real world beyond their golden walls, to understand empathy, to feel gratitude. One afternoon, while visiting a rural school, Zoo tugged at her mother's hand. "Mama," she whispered, "these girls don't have books like mine." Sarah knelt down beside her. "That's why we're here, Zoo. So that one day they will. And when you grow up, maybe you can help them too." The little girl nodded, her eyes wide with understanding. In that moment, Sarah realized that her children were learning not from her words, but from her example. Life was beautiful, but it wasn't without its storms. As William's company expanded overseas, he often traveled for weeks at a time. The empty side of the bed reminded Sarah of the distance success could create. They would talk on video calls, exchange messages filled with love, but sometimes she missed his presence, the warmth of his hand, the sound of his laugh. One night, after putting the kids to sleep, she sat alone in the garden. The moonlight spilled across the marble path, and the fountain whispered softly. Her phone buzzed. It was a message from William. "I miss home. I miss you." She smiled through her tears and replied, "Home misses you too. But don't forget, love, success means nothing if it costs your peace." He called her that night. His voice was quiet, tired, but filled with affection. "You always keep me grounded, Sarah," he said. "You're my calm in the noise." And she realized something profound. While the world saw him as the strong CEO, to him, she was the anchor that kept him steady. Years went by. Zoo turned 8. Jack, 6. Sarah began to teach them simple lessons in independence, how to make their beds, how to share, how to say thank you and mean it. She wanted them to grow not as heirs of fortune, but as carriers of compassion. On weekends, they baked cookies together, played board games, and painted in the garden. Sometimes, they made a mess of the kitchen, flour everywhere, laughter echoing through the halls. William would walk in and shake his head with a smile, pretending to scold them. "This looks like a war zone," he'd say. Zoo would giggle, "It's a happy war, Daddy." And they'd all laugh until their sides hurt. But amid the joy, Sarah never forgot her own dreams. She started writing a book based on her journey, titled Beyond the Glass Walls. It was part memoir, part motivation, a reflection on her transformation from a simple girl to a woman who learned to balance love, motherhood, and ambition. Late at night, she'd sit in her study, typing while the mansion slept. Words flowed like confessions from her heart, about loneliness, resilience, and rediscovering herself. When William read her manuscript, he looked at her in awe. "Sarah, this isn't just your story," he said softly. "It's every woman's story." He decided to fund a small publication to get her message out. Within months, the book gained national attention. Readers loved her honesty, the way she spoke about the beauty and pain of chasing dreams while nurturing a family. Sarah became a voice for women who wanted to do both, to love and lead, to nurture and achieve. Then came one of her proudest days. Zoo and Jack stood on a small stage at their school, holding certificates for kindness and leadership. As Sarah clapped from the audience, tears shimmered in her eyes. Not because of awards, but because she saw in them everything she had hoped for: kind hearts, bright spirits, and courage. After the ceremony, Zoo ran into her arms. "Mama, are you proud?" Sarah hugged her tightly, more than words can ever say. At that moment, William walked up beside her, wrapping an arm around her shoulders. "You've built this family, Sarah," he whispered. "You're the reason we're whole." She smiled through happy tears. "No, William. We built it together." That evening, they all sat under the stars, the garden lights glowing softly. Zoo and Jack chased fireflies, while Sarah leaned against William's shoulder. "Do you ever think about how far we've come?" she asked. He nodded. "Every day, I still remember that boardroom meeting. The woman who changed my life with her honesty." She laughed softly. "And I remember the man who saw me for more than a presentation." They shared a quiet smile, knowing that love, real love, wasn't made of perfect moments, but of shared growth, shared dreams, and shared hope. Sarah realized that her life had come full circle. From a modest childhood to a mansion filled with laughter, she had found her balance. She had built not just a home, but a legacy. A life that taught her children the value of kindness and gave hope to countless others. And every night, when she kissed Zoo and Jack goodnight, she whispered the same words she once told herself as a young girl. "No dream is too small, and no heart too ordinary to shine."